Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. For all my new subbies, yo, for all my old subbies, yeah. And I'm back with another video today. This video is a little cringe, only because this requires a lot of humility, but God has been putting it on my chest, okay? So for the people that don't know me, my name is Alexis, Lexis, but you can call me Lexi for short. And on this channel, I feel like, yeah, we talk about God and my journey and everything like that, but it's not just about the cutesy testimonies. Like, in order for me to like really be a servant of the Lord, I have to teach people how to get deliverance. And in order for you to get deliverance, you have to confess your sins to one another. You understand what I'm saying? And I just feel as though this is one of those things where I got to get a little nitty gritty. I got to get real with y'all. I got to get humble. I have to show humility. Okay. So y'all know I hate a long intro. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit that bell notification. And everybody that's been commenting, I've been trying to get to everybody that has commented. So I think I've gotten to everybody. But I love y'all testimonies so much. I love y'all so much. And y'all just give me strength to keep going. So yeah, it's enough talking. Let's just get right into the video. Okay. So just because of YouTube purposes, I know that children are on this site a lot of the times, but this is a thing that children suffer from. Right? Because a lot of us, if you clicked on this video, you already know this started from a very young age. It don't start when you're an adult. It starts when you're a child. But just for like, just being a little bit more aware and a little bit more vigilant with my mouth. I don't think I'm using vigilant right. I just want to keep certain words like the M word. We're going to use love instead. I just feel like it's just a little, you know, some things a little too much. You feel me? So yeah, like I said, this video is a little cringe, but hey, let's just get started. Okay, so where do I even begin? First and foremost, I want people to not feel ashamed. Like, everybody has their own sins that they go through, but also you got to understand that a lot of the sins that you are going through, a lot of the things that the spiritual warfare are not just your battles. They're battles that your ancestors, your past generations have gone through that they did not fully either invest in being delivered from it, and it has now trickled down to you. You inherit the sins of your father, you inherit the sins of your mother, just like you can inherit blessings. Just like Abraham, his descendants were blessed, but Rahab's descendants were spared because of her duty to, what's it called again? What's the story where she it's right on the tip of my tongue. She saved the spies. You understand what I'm saying? So it's just like, yes, we talk about generational curses, we have generational blessings, but at the same time, we're not always fighting our own battles. So please do not feel ashamed, because it is something that is way more common than we know. Like, I mean, we know it's common because, I mean, it's literally in everything that we see. But just not, you know, we sometimes feel like, we want to hide certain parts of ourselves, but you can't be delivered if it's still in the dark. Okay? So yeah, I just really want to start off with saying that. But since I've already talked about the delivered and, you know, staying in the dark, I feel like this is what kind of led to me having this conversation in the first place, right? So I don't know, but this topic has been like really heavy as of lately in like my life, as far as in like people coming to me, what the shows I've watched, and then the sermon I just watched yesterday was like, okay, this is confirmation. This is what I need to go ahead and talk about on Let's Talk Tuesdays. So it was a sermon from Tim Ross, and it was called Get Down Here. And he stated something that was very familiar, because my friend had told me it was, I think, the scripture James. I'm gonna put it on the screen, but I'm gonna see if I can just grab it right now. I'm looking. It's not my notes for this video because I'm gonna just talk off the dome, but it's my notes from the sermon, and it was just so much. So it's actually two of them. So I'm gonna read the one from Tim Ross, and then I'm gonna read the one that my friend sent me, and I was like, wow, like I read this chapter so many times I just completely looked over it. So the James 4:6-10, it says, but he gives us more grace. This is why scripture says, God opposes the proud, but shows favor to the humble. Submit yourselves then to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. So submit yourselves to God and then resist the devil and flee from you. Come near to God and he will come near to you. Wash your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded. Grieve, mourn, wail. Change your laughter to mourning and your joy to gloom. Humble yourselves before the Lord and he will lift you up. Humble yourselves, right? So you have to basically be okay with telling God you suffer from this. Like, he knows you do, but at the same time, you got to let him know. You got to humble yourself. Like, stop trying to hide stuff from him. But also, my friend sent me this and I was like, wow, this is what Millie's like, okay, I'm gonna do this video. This is James chapter 5 verse 16. Therefore confess your sins to each other and pray for each other so that you can be healed. The prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective. So that right there already tells me you're not supposed to do this stuff alone, right? And we don't want to talk about the cringe stuff. We want to do things by ourselves, you feel me, in the dark. Like, oh, I got to be in my isolation season. Yes, there's a season for isolation, but there is a season when things are supposed to come to the light. Why? Because the devil deals with darkness. He deals with everything in darkness. While it's hidden, he knows how to attack you. He can get into your mind and stuff like that. But when you shine a light on it, the devil's homies, his posse, you know, the fallen angels, Beelzebub, all them, you know, whatever, the ones that he sent out to like tempt you, they're gonna be like, well, we can't really use that against them because it's no longer hidden. It's for everyone to know. So you got people praying for them. You got what's it called again? Like, it's not something like, it's like when somebody try to expose you, but you already exposed yourself, like, people already know this. Like, you can't use that against me. The devil can't use certain things against you when it's already been exposed to the light. You know what I'm saying? Like, he got to find a new tactic. And a lot of us don't like to expose certain things to the light because it hit home differently. Especially the times it's like, it's not about necessarily what you do. It's like the little details behind it. And I'm gonna get into that, right? So that he kind of stated with this, like, he kind of gave me that same example, and I was just like, wow, like, I never thought about it like that. Like, it's time for us to like really bring the things that we are going through to the light, because you are not the only person going through things. Like, when I tell you it is over 8 billion people in the world, even if it was 1 out of 100, that's still so many people. Even if it was 1 out of 1,000, you know how many people will still be going through the same thing as you? Like, I'm sorry, but it's literally impossible for you to be the only one going through whatever you're going through. It's literally impossible. So now that we got that out the way, let's talk about how I kind of like, I wouldn't say overcame or, well, been delivered from it, because I still suffer from certain things, but we'll get into that. But how I've overcome a lot of things. Okay, so first and foremost, right, y'all know I be all over the place. Just catch it when you can catch it. I don't have like a specific linear way that I speak. I just kind of speak off the dome. I feel like I kind of got into porn, whatever. It's such a weird thing to say. When I was like 10 or 11, like, they used to have like NastyDisney.com, and like they used to like sexualize the like characters and stuff like that. And I used to tell my mom all the time growing up, I'm abstinent, not innocent. Like, I started saying this in high school, but still, like, I'm abstinent, not innocent. You feel me? Because I was always honest with my mama, and I was being honest, but my mind used to always be in the gutter. And it just was normal because everybody around me, it's the same thing. You feel me? The guys, the girls. I did not start to fornicate. Like, I didn't lose my virginity until after I graduated high school. You know what I'm saying? But I had a boyfriend, and I always had a boyfriend from kindergarten all the way up to my senior. This is like the longest I've ever not had a boyfriend. Like, I always had a boyfriend. So, I mean, at first it was just like we could peck on the lips and hold hands. That was enough for me. You feel me? But my mind was still dirty. And it was a lot of things behind the closet that I would like necessarily watch or do that people wouldn't necessarily know about, or like probably like my best friend would know, but like not to the extent, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of us like, oh yeah, we watch porn, you feel me? Like that's such a normal thing, like it does not look down upon, but you wouldn't let somebody watch your playlist of porn, like, you know, what you are actually attracted to, like what's your little quirks, your, you know, because a lot of the times you can't even explain why you like that, like why that perversion or that perverted thing is something that you're attracted to, and trying to have it to explain it to somebody that you think that may not understand be a little for you feel me? So it's like, and you're not the only one that go through it, because you look at the views and you look at all the comments, you like, why there's a lot of people watching what I'm watching, but you don't know who's those people are in your circle or they're not in your circle, you know what I'm saying? So that's where it becomes like a little like, yeah, I watch porn, but like what type? You know what I'm saying? So once you feel like you got to start hiding things, and if it had the opportunity to come to light and you feel like you would freaking die of embarrassment or you would die of shame, that's probably something that you should not be doing. Just saying. And I'm speaking from, you know, honest feelings. Like, damn, if my husband ever asked like, let me see this, I would be like, nope. Like, I'm being very honest. It's like, yeah, no, that's just not happening. Like, you can know everything about me but that. I hate gnats, y'all. I hate gnats, and the fact that I did all that and I missed it irritates me. But anywho, yeah, so I want to say I was watching a podcast or whatever, and I can't tell you exactly like when was the specific day, what was the specific time, specific thought process. It was just a lot of thought processes around that time that made me be like, okay, you feel me? So one day I was like, I'm gonna stop watching porn. Like, I'm gonna really stop doing that, only because I feel like it's unrealistic, and not so much as the act itself. It's more so this is not a realistic what's it called again, approach for the long run. Because if I'm being very honest, like, guys are watching this too, so you have this image, you have this idea of how it's supposed to go, right? And when it don't go the way you think it should go, you kind of, I want to say irritated, but you kind of like you left off feeling really that's what that is all about. You know, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Like, we want to keep it very honest, but it's just like, I feel like, let's call this our cootie cat, right? It be swollen, it be hurting, you be getting yeast infections, like, or you'll feel like a rip, like, and all the time, depending on who your partner is, it just don't be good. It don't like, and you think because it's normal, you like, all right, well, maybe if I try it like this time, or maybe if I put my mindset like this, you feel me? Or like, it just little things like you be saying, put in your mind, and it's not supposed to be like that. Honestly, we were supposed to have sex with one person, our husband, right? And that was a person that you have into sex with until the day you die. We were supposed to have nothing to compare it to. Back then, they used to be covered up. We didn't have anything to compare our bodies to, you know, the size of anything. Like, we have all this stuff and all these options, and you kind of like put this unrealistic expectations of certain things on men and women, because a lot of these women are getting that vaginal rejuvenation thingy, whatever. You know, a lot of these men are you know, just doing all type of stuff, you feel me? Taking Viagra, all type of stuff just to keep up with this persona, this thing, you feel me? And I just feel like in the long run it just wasn't sustainable, as far as in like for your temple. Like, you are literally, because you don't want to hurt a man's ego or a woman's ego, but I'm speaking from a woman's perspective, a man's ego, you take certain things that you necessarily, your body is like kind of rejecting, and then because you don't want to look no type of way, or you don't want to make him feel some type of way or anything like that, and it's like you're hurting your temple, you're hurting the thing that God is giving you to steward over, because you don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, you feel me? And it's just like, that's not fair to you. It's not, especially because that person is going inside of you. Then on top of that, it's just like, whatever spirits that's attached to that person is now being attached to you. You give them free access, right? So whatever spirit of perversion or promiscuity, or it could be even financial burdens, or it could be like the spirit of jealousy, whatever the case may be, whatever spirit is attached to you, you give it free range and free, like, hey, to come attack you. You know what I'm saying? So something that you may not have suffered from before, you may not suffer from now. You know what I'm saying? Like, lack of self-confidence. Like, before you was confident, you got with this man and you no longer confident. Because he pretended to be confident, but in actuality, he was so not confident and insecure that he put little things in your head, or he said things, he broke you down mentally to bring you down to a level beneath him, to make you what's the word, insecure, to make himself look more confident. So you don't even realize, dang, like, I was so confident before I met him and stuff, because the spirit of insecurity and stuff like that was on him, and he attached that to you. Like, it's that deep. When people are like, oh, it's not that deep, it's really that deep, because you understand, you are literally fighting in a spiritual realm. You have a spirit, you have a soul, and then you have a physical body, right? So you are fighting, and your angels and all this are fighting for you. It's a spirit, like a spiritual battle going on every single day that you just are not physically aware of, like, seeing. It's like when you watch, I don't know if you ever watch Shadowhunters or like Vampire Diaries. Like, this is happening in everybody's faces, but they don't know that Elena right now is a whole doppelganger, and she out here, somebody taking her blood to, you know, help the travelers, and you got the witches, and you got the vampires, and all this stuff is being done in people's faces, and they're really going through this, but you have no idea. This is how the spiritual realm is. If things are happening in our face, but you don't see it because you're unaware, you can't help but, like, it's a whole different, it's like ghost, right? Like, I'm sorry, you cannot believe in, to me personally, you cannot believe in God and the devil and all this other stuff and demons and not believe in, like, the supernatural, because to me it's hand in hand. It's just a different word. But yeah, like, all this stuff be going on, you know what I'm saying? And when you know, you don't, hey, I hope you never have to know, you know what I'm saying? But that's what happens. And this is what really made me start to believe in, like, okay, no, God, you for real, like, you real, right? So let me try to, like, talk in a linear line. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna stop watching porn, because this is unrealistic. I don't want my man to, like, watch porn, and I can't ask him not to watch porn, and I'm watching porn. That's just not fair. So we just not gonna do it, because I don't want unrealistic expectations. I want us to be able to emotionally connect with each other and not just physically connect with each other, because I feel like it became dull when I realized emotionally I wasn't attached to them like how I wanted to be, and I was trying to use that as a gateway to connect with them, and they just weren't in that same mindset, because they were, like, just trying to get their rocks off, you feel me? So I just felt like it was always like, dang, there's something missing. Like, I like him, but it's something missing. So I was like, all right, I'm not doing this no more, right? But I was still suffering from loving myself, right? So, oh, this is so cringe. So I was like, okay, because I'm not watching that, whatever. My friend had bought us all roses, right? I had a rose. Then I was like, dang, that kind of defeats the purpose too, because this is a machine. I can put it on level 4 and get what I need to get done, you feel me, almost immediately. But a guy is not doing the same thing. So, like, when I decide to, like, you know, do my little fornicate with the person I'm dealing with at that time, it's kind of like they not hitting the same way, you feel me? But I'm comparing it to a freaking machine, and I was like, see, that's unrealistic too, because the whole time I'm sitting here like, hey, no, I'm looking for a specific feeling that is unrealistic for me to get, because of this person is a human being. So I had to I threw it away. I was just like, yeah, like, at the end of the day, this is beyond me. Like, this is something that, like, I can't just throw it out away when it's time for me to get married, you feel me? Like, I have to create certain habits in my life now for later on. It won't necessarily be something like, I'm a very big believer of, I don't want to look like I'm putting on, you feel me? Like, how, oh, you believe that, like, you cook, you clean now when you first get into a relationship, and then, like, you know what I'm saying, your husband be like, well, 6 months down the line you stop doing that because it was a show. But if you start doing that way prior to getting with that person, it becomes a habit, and it's not necessarily a show. It may not be something that you were accustomed to doing before, but because you know the type of person you want to be, you've implemented that beforehand, so you wouldn't be putting on the show. You would just literally be continuing what you was doing before, right? So I use this strategy in every parts of my life, right? So we'll go into that in, like, other videos or whatever. But yeah, so I'm like, okay, boom, I stopped, you know, watching porn, and then I cut off the rose completely. Okay, so then it was just like, all right, I'm watching certain shows, and I'm like, wow, like, you don't realize how much is in your face until, like, you say you're gonna stop doing it. It's like when you like, oh, I'm gonna go keto, I'm gonna stop eating carbs, you gonna realize how much carbs is in everything. Like, dang, you got 56 grams of carbs in a Gatorade, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, you don't realize how much of it is in your life. Or like, oh, I'm gonna stop doing sugar, you feel me? And you be like, wow, I don't realize how much added sugar I eat, you feel me? So or like when you in the house, right? This is a perfect example. When you in the house and like, let's say your garbage stink and you've been in the house this whole time, you don't smell it. You walk out the house, you go to the store for like 5 minutes, you can come back and you're like, wow, what is that smell? Like, there's no way that could be my garbage because I just left and came back, you feel me? It always smelled, you just wasn't aware to it because you were so busy, stuck and accustomed to it. But once you leave and you come back, you realize like, wow, okay. So this is kind of how like realizing like sex is literally everywhere. Like, this is being promoted no matter, like it's literally fighting me and attacking me and chasing me. Like, that's how I felt. Like, wow. So I was watching Big Mouth and I like, before it used to be funny, but now I was like, wow, that's a lot of, yeah, I gotta cut that out. Especially like the second one, I was like, oh yeah, I gotta cut this out. Then I watch anime, right? I'm an anime girl. I was watching Bastard. I was like, this is porn. Wow. So, like, this don't make no sense. Like, they put this on Netflix for children to watch. Okay, they don't even gotta go to no site. Just click on whatever anime show they want. Then it was this other one. I'm gonna put the name of it so you make sure your kid's not watching it. And it's like a gambling game or whatever. But like every single time like she win or something, she had like an orgasm. I was just like, this. Yeah, I can't watch this stuff. So I was like more aware of like what I watch. Like, even if I'm watching like an adult movie or regular, and it's not many sex scenes, like whatever, it's just like a regular movie. But if the sex scene is a little too long, I fast forward. Like, not because I'm a prude or because I can't have no self-control. It's just like, I'm not even gonna open up that door for like no thoughts for later on. Like that's a little too much. Like, when it's OD, you OD. So yeah. And a lot of the times I'm not even like turned on by stuff like on TV. It'd be like a random thought in my head. You feel me? So yeah, but still, like, just limiting those things. Even the music I listen to, like, you're not hearing me play WAP in my car, Megan Thee Stallion, like all this type of artists. I don't listen to secular music like that anyways. But in certain artists that you just won't dare see me touch on my radio, like, and I still have to deal with it like if I'm in somebody else's car or whatever, but it's not something that I constantly hear on a daily basis, that my mind is like, you know what I'm saying? Because subconsciously, what you feed yourself is what you feed in your soul, and you feed in your heart. You feel me? In your mind, like all that stuff is tied together. So it's like, yeah, I ain't even gonna do that, right? So then after that, it became more so like, yeah, I'm watching what I listen to. I'm watching what I watch. I'm not watching porn. I'm not, you know, using my roles, whatever. But I still suffer from loving myself every once in a while. I went from like, oh, this is humility. Like, let's say on like a very boring day, I ain't got nothing to do, maybe like 3 times a day, right? To like once every month. Sometimes I'll go months without it. You feel me? I'm like, oh, look at me. But then, you know, you have that idea, and sometimes it's not even about what you watched. It's that, and this is how the devil works. You gotta understand. It's not necessarily that you were triggered. It's just sometimes you would put yourself in a position to want to feel that feeling again, right? Like, it's just like, okay, I know how that felt, so like I'm gonna put myself in a situation where I'm gonna create that feeling. Like, I wasn't even tempted, but I'm gonna tempt myself, and that's what the devil wants. So it's like, he's not omnipresent, nor is he omniscient. So it's just like, he can't be everywhere at once. So what he'll do is set certain patterns in your life, right? And so he don't have to tempt you, you tempt yourself. So because you know that feeling, like, it's like a crackhead, you feel me? Like, oh, I just had to give you one little taste and I got you hooked. Like, that's what the devil, like, I'll get you one little taste, maybe 2 or 3, you feel me? I get you hooked, and then you'll do it to yourself. So it's just like, oh yeah, I wasn't tempted or whatever, but because I remember that feeling, it's just like, I'm bored or whatever the case may be. It's like, that feeling right now seems very, you know, so you kind of want to put yourself in a state to feel that feeling, and now you've committed sin when you weren't even tempted. You tempted yourself. So I had to be aware of that. Like, when do I do that? Is when I'm bored, or when I feel like I lack control of my life, like, or an emotion that I don't necessarily understand. So I'm a very emotional person. So like, if I'm feeling sad, or I'm feeling confused or conflicted, or my mind just got a lot going on, the first thing I do, I would run to that, because it's like a release, you feel me? So, but instead of I'm supposed to run to God, not to that. So I've now made that an idol. And then, and it's kind of hard to go to God right after that, right? You're supposed to, because you sin, you're supposed to repent. But like, you know, for like, you low-key know, like, I'm about to do this again, so I can't say, God, I'm never gonna do this again, because you know deep down in your heart you're gonna be lying, and God know your heart. So you just like, it kind of puts you in a way like you kind of choosing, you straddling the line. It was being aware, like, okay, when I'm feeling emotional, or I have to first of all realize what that feeling is. You know what I'm saying? Of course, it goes stem for different for different people, but like for me, it was because of my emotions. So I had to like really take the time out to journal, really like, okay, be aware of what am I feeling, why am I feeling this, where did it stem from? Because 2 minutes ago I was just okay. What did I watch to make me think of this, da-da-da, or what did I see, or what thought process, even if it's something so small that you don't even realize, you feel me? And it makes you more self-aware. So now let's talk about our environments, right? You have to stop putting yourself in an environment to be tempted. Stop going to the club, because all those girls is dressed half naked. Now granted, I feel like the gym is a little bit more difficult, and I ain't gonna lie, my friend just told me, like, talked about something, and I was just like, wow, I never really like saw it to that extent. And then I watched a podcast, and I was just like, dang, so this is like a real problem that guys struggle with, like, you know, us in gym clothes and stuff. And I'm not gonna be like, oh, we gotta stop wearing shorts or whatever the case may be, blase squaze, because when you look cute and you feel good, like, you work out better, like, you know. But I'm like, dang, like, I ain't gotta wear shorts like 5 times out the week. I could wear it once, you feel me? Like, I'm like, now I'm gonna do big shirts and like, you know, my long tight pants instead of like short tight pants. Like, just a little bit, like, help them help us, you get what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, like, you're not supposed to don't put stumbling blocks in front of your brothers and sisters. Like, don't put them in a position to fall, you feel me? Like, I'm gonna put that scripture because I can't say it off the top of my dome right now, you feel me? But I'm just like, damn, like, the guys that are really trying to like walk with God and what's the word, just become a man of God himself, and like really temptations, and they are married and they trying to like stay faithful and not lust. We women too have to take very like responsibility that we be tripping them up. Like, we be tripping them up a lot of the time, especially if you know you got a big badonka and you wore them tight shorts. Like, if it was a gym full of females, I wouldn't care what we wear, you feel me? But we have to be aware of like our role in it. I'm not saying that they're not supposed to have self-control, because they are, but I'm just speaking from a woman's standpoint. I'm like, dang, I need to work on modesty a little bit, because this is just how I dress, and it's not really for a guy, it's really for me, because I feel cute. But I also got to think about, I would want women to kind of respect, like, if I was married, to not really tempt him as much. I want him to be faithful on his own accord, but like, you still could be tempted, you know what I'm saying, and vice versa, you feel me? So it's just like, even men, like, they need to stop walking in the gym all shirtless and stuff. Like, if that's your thing, like, to me, that don't bother me. Like, a guy can be near naked and it won't do nothing to me. Like, that's just not how I'm wired. But some people like are really visual, and they just like, oh my gosh, and I'm just like, oh, I don't operate that way, so I don't think of it like that, you feel me? But it's real, it's really real out here, you know what I'm saying? So I ain't telling you, you know, you gotta go from a 10 to a 1, you feel me? Just kind of meet in the middle, even if it's a 6, you feel me? Like, just little things, you feel me? We don't gotta wear shorts and a sports bra. We could wear a sports bra and long pants. We could wear, you know, shorts and a long shirt, you feel me? Like, something like that. Like, I just feel like I don't want to come at nobody and be like, well, it's their fault. Please don't attack me. I'm just giving different options, because I feel like now this is it's gonna be a challenge for me, you know what I'm saying? Because I ain't got nothing but shorts. I wear shorts all day, so I'm like, oh, I only got like 3 long pants, so what I'm gonna do, you feel me? I went on Shein to buy a whole bunch of big shirts and stuff like that, and I'm gonna still be like crunching them up on my back or whatever, you feel me? But just like, so they don't see like that front part and the back part, you feel me? Because it's like, that's, especially if it's like hip thrust day, or we doing like, you know, deadlifts and RDLs right in front of somebody on the turf. Let's help them out a little bit. Let's help them out a little bit. But yeah, that's one thing. And then I just feel like, oh, I almost forgot the most important one. that incubus and succubus spirit, right? Okay, so this is what really sat here and set me off. Like, all right, bet. Okay, bet. I did not know about these spirits, and I feel like they need to talk about this stuff in church because this is real life stuff. So when I first was abstinent, like for the first 6 months, it wasn't for God. It was just because I wasn't really feeling nobody, and the guy I kind of like wanted at the time, it was like we were just friends, so that really wasn't on the table or whatever the case may be. So it was just like, oh, okay. And then it was just like, you know what, I'm gonna do this intentionally. Soon as I said, oh, I'm gonna wait till marriage because I want to do this for God, the attacks was and I'm not talking about like, oh, I'm tempted during the day. When I talk about in my dreams, demons trying to have sex with me in my dreams. Y'all, I had never experienced, first of all, a sex dream in my life, ever. So the fact that I'm having sex dreams and they're about literal demons, and I'm not demons like I've seen on TV, like I'm mimicking off of like a show or whatever. No, I mean like I knew these were demons because I ain't never seen nothing like these before. And it was like the most perverse dreams. And I remember me in the dream and be like, oh no, I'm abstinent. I would like get to the action, and then right before that I'd be like, no, I can't do this. Like literally, like, and I was fasted, I was prayed up at this time. So like it was just like literally my spirit was fighting like the devil, the demons in my dreams for me. You feel me? But if I wasn't doing what I was doing like during the day, like in my Bible and all this other stuff, I wouldn't have been equipped to like, what's the word, be able to fight the way I was fighting in my dreams. Because when I tell you, I mean for 2-3 weeks straight, every single dream, I'm like, bro, you can't tell me they ain't a God. Because as soon as I said I'm gonna go abstinent for God, these demons started coming at. And my thing is, something is not gonna attack you unless, one, they have reason to, or two, they're not gonna attack you if they don't find you as a threat. But the fact that like once I said I was just doing it for me, they didn't see the need to come for me. But once I said I was doing it for God, they was like, oh no, we can't have that. And it came for me. So that means if there's demons and devils, the ops came for me. I know there's a God because I seen his ops. I seen his ops, and I was like, oh yeah, there's a God. Yeah, because this. And then I was like, I had to call one of my friends. Well, she's not my friend no more, but we were best friends growing up or whatever. And I knew that like she was like into her, she's always been like about God, you know, and she got on her journey way before I did. So I kind of reached out to her because I really had certain questions. And I was like, hey, I know we ain't talking a minute, but you know, And she told me what they were called, and I looked them up. And incubus spirits, I'm gonna put the definitions on here, but that goes towards women, right? That's like the male version. And then the succubus is like the female version, and they have like sex with you in your dreams and all this other stuff. And then I've been reading the book of Enoch, right? The lost book. Like, so this is the lost book. It's not really lost because it's been found, like we have it, but it's one of the books I was taking out from the Bible because it talks about the watchers, it talks about Nephophilia, pretty much how they came down, the fallen angels came down, the watchers came down, and they had sex with our women, you know what I'm saying? So like and even them watchers made them wives, because it says that in the Bible. So don't let nobody make you a side chick. If a demon can make you a wife, let's be for real, stop putting yourself in the side chick position, because that's just not, we're not doing that. But that's besides the point. So yeah, they would make these women their wives, and they would have sex with them, and it created giants, it created all this, you know, these things, whatever, right? And that's why God had to flood the earth, because it was too wicked, and lust and perversion and all that stuff was very, very, very big on earth, right? And I think that's probably one of the things that it's easy for the devil to like really like push on us, because it's easy to put it in shows, music, subconsciously, all this other stuff. Like I said, it's just one of those things that's just big, right? And yeah, so they did all this other stuff. And what was my point? Dang. Oh, so they had sex with these women and stuff like that. And yeah, they created stuff, right? And then I was watching, it was a TikTok I was about to make, and I was going off of the show, not the show, the movie called Hercules. I used to have a little the VR VC, I can't even remember the name, tape or whatever, right? And I used to watch Hercules all the time, and I don't know why it popped up in my head where it was just like, oh wow, like even though Hercules was a god and he was born in the kingdom, right? Because we all come from the kingdom, because we all was with God before we were here, right? He got onto earth. He couldn't just go back to heaven. He had to prove himself to become a god again, right? So everything he did, whether it was like his strength or whatever the case may be, it did not matter. He just was not, what's the word, equipped to go back. You know what I'm saying? Like that. So it wasn't until he risked his life. Sometimes you gotta die, you know, to live. That's crazy. He risked his life for Meg, and he put her life and her wants, you know, over his wants, and that's what allowed him to become a god again, right? So I was like, dang, that's kind of like how we are. We have to die to our flesh, the desires of what we want and stuff like that, in order to make it to heaven. So I was just like, wow, this is a little thing. This is a little, I should talk about it. So I was just like, but let me rewatch this movie just to get some more notes, because I haven't watched this movie in a long time. So I ended up going on Netflix to see if like it had the movie, and then I ended up watching the real version of like Hercules, you like the human version, right? Not the cartoon version. And I'm thinking it's gonna be the same as the cartoon. It was not. It was not. I saw it from a whole biblical standpoint that it was like so crazy. So it was a scene where the mother of Hercules did not like her husband or whatever the case may be, and she asked Zeus to like impregnate her. You feel me? But Zeus was having sex with her, but like in the spirit, like he was not physically there, but she was like floating and da-da-da-da. And I was just like, that's how the Watchers did it? Like, wow. And she got pregnant and she had Hercules, and I was just like, this is crazy. Because in my head I was like, I could not picture like how this was happening, like how did these angels and stuff like that. And I was just like, wow, like they really just showed something that is kind of like in a biblical standpoint in Hercules without me realizing. I'm like, wow. And Zeus, remember, like they used to make themselves God, but like you're not supposed to make, it's only one God, you feel me? So it was just like, that's like, to me it was just like connecting the dots. And I was just like, but that's how they get to you in your dreams, is spirit. Like it's so, everything's so spiritual. And I was just like, you can't tell me they ain't been telling us stuff since the beginning of time. So I was just like, yeah, there's a God, and this is real. This is really real. Like this nothing to be played with. This ain't no joke. This ain't no joke. So I don't want to make this video too long, but please find a partner, find a person that you can kind of open up to. Of course, have discernment on who you open up to, because people will throw that back in your face, and we ain't about that. We ain't about that. But this stuff is like really real, and I feel like we got to stop putting ourselves in a position to be tempted. Stop tempting ourselves. Second, just be vigilant and aware of your surroundings, your environment, what you're watching, what you're listening to, and stuff like that, what you're feeding your spirit and your mind. Because at the end of the day, just like you're fighting your ancestors and your grandparents, your other generationals, what's it called again, spiritual warfare and stuff like that, their battles, you don't want your kids fighting the same battles. You do not, and you don't want it to continue to, when it can stop with you. This is not just about you, it's about future generations. It's about your children. It's about your soul, your soul, their soul. Let's be for real. And as disciples of Christ, servants of Christ, we are here to serve other people, not ourselves. When you decide to get into a marriage, then fornicate as much as you want. But outside of that, please have self-control. You know what I'm saying? And don't cause your brothers and sisters to stumble when it comes down to lustful desires. As the same way, you don't want them to cause you to, stumble. And everybody's triggers are different. So just kind of be a little bit more aware if you can. I ain't telling you to change yourself. That's something that God has to convict you on, because you couldn't tell me different. You couldn't tell me nothing. Like, I'm going to dress how I want to dress. I mean, I dress differently as far as I've been wearing more baggy clothes and stuff like that. But in the gym, I was like, this is the gym. Still, like, God has to convict you on certain things yourself, but I'm just saying, like, it's just food for thought. I like to plant seeds and let God water them. It is not my job to change nobody or judge anybody. You know what I'm saying? That's I don't put nothing else on my plate. But yeah, I really hope that this video was a little bit informative. It was a little bit more what's the word? I know it most definitely was different. It was a little cringe, but I feel like somebody is supposed to benefit off of this video, like just having a different perspective. Tell your brothers and sisters, you know, don't let anything stay in the darkness. Stop doing, try to be, and it's not just about sexual things. You cannot be delivered from things just by yourself. You have to open up. You're supposed to live this life with other people, not just by yourself. So you want people to pray for you, especially if you see people living correct. Allow those people to pray for you, because they may be able to pray for you in this area, but you may be very strong and resisting one temptation, one sin, and they the opposite. You feel me? So y'all need to be helping each other. Yeah. And then you can't help each other if you don't know the problem, if they don't know the problem. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but if you like more videos like this, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit that bell notification so you never miss a video. And I really just hope that this helped at least one person. That's my job. That's, like, you know, as a Christian. And yeah, other than that, y'all stay blessed and y'all flex. Deuces.